Hey everyone, in this video we are going to understand what MCP is and how can we test it using Burp Suite. Don't worry if this sounds complex, I'll break it down everything into simple terms and we'll go step by step. First with the basics, what is MCP? You can think of MCP as a standard way for AI applications to talk to external systems. So instead of hard coding integrations and APIs, MCP provides a structured way for AI apps, clients, and servers to communicate with each other. But why did we introduce MCP? Now imagine that you have a lot of services, right? Could be Slack, web services, database, and local files. Now imagine having to manually wire up each API connection for each service that your AI needs to talk to. It is like building a new custom bridge for every time you want to cross a river, right? So you have to create a custom authentication for each service, like passwords and keys everywhere, write a specific data transformation logic for each API, build specialized error handling for each integration. So as you can see, we have three integrations here. And the worst part, as soon as you want to add another tool to your AI application, you'd have to go do it all over again. So it was a maintenance nightmare that got exponentially worse as your application grew. Hope that makes sense. Now, think of MCP as creating a universal translator between AI models and external tools. Instead of building custom connections for each tool, developers can use a single standardized protocol. It's like we suddenly agreed on one type of a power outlet for the entire world, right? So let's begin with the architecture. So let's understand the main components. First of all, we have the main host. Think of this as your AI application like ChatGPT, Cloud Code, or whatnot. Then you have an MCP client. This acts as a middle layer or a middleman. It connects the servers and fetches data. And finally, we have the MCP server. This is where the actual data and the functionality lives. So in simple terms, we have a host, we have a client in the middle, and we have the server. Now that we are done with the architecture, let's boil a bit down. Let's go a bit down and get into layers. So MCP has two layers, which is the data layer and the second is the transport layer. So data layer, this defines how messages look. So an MCP would need to communicate with the client, right? So this is where the data layer comes in. It uses something called JSON RPC, which is a structured JSON format for sending requests and getting responses. The second is transport types and the transport layer. So basically, we have them of two types, Studio and Streamable HTTP transport. Just a basic overview. So data layer covers what we send and transport layer covers how we send it. Just like HTTP would be a transport layer and data layer would be the request. Now let's talk about the transport types. There would be generally two types you'd be dealing with. Mainly you'll be dealing with streamable HTTP transport, but we need to know both of them. So what is Studio? Now think of this as this is used when a client and server are running on the same machine. So you have one single machine and you want to run the client and the MCP server on the same machine. So this is how it works. The client starts the server as a subprocess in the same machine. The client sends messages through a standard input called stdin and the server replies through a standard output called stdout. So therefore stdio, right? So basically they're talking directly through terminal pipes. There is no network, no HTTP, just direct communication. Now this is where we get into streamable HTTP transport. So here generally you will have a standalone server and an endpoint. For example, this is an endpoint and the client sends a request using HTTP. The server responds normally, or it can give stream responses using something called SSE, which is server side events. What is SSE? Think of it as a live feed. So instead of sending one response and closing the connection, the server keeps the connection open and keeps sending updates. Alright, moving on to the next slide. So this is how it generally looks. You have stdio and SSE. Now primitives. So there are three primitives when it comes to MCPs. The first is the tools. These are functions that AI can call. For example, get weather, query a DB. Second is the resources. This is just like data, like files, API responses, and records. Third is the prompts. So these are templates that help structure the AI responses. So just to summarize it, tool would be an action, resources would be the data, and prompts would be the templates. Let's talk about handshakes. Just like you have a TLS handshake, in MCP there's something similar. So every MCP integration begins with something called an initialize request. So it's just like saying, hey server, I'm a client, here's what I can support. So let me give you an example. So here is my MCP endpoint. If I send a request to this endpoint, as you can see, it says 406 not acceptable. Why does it say that? Because it must accept, or the client must support this type of stream. So I'll just type this accept, and as you can see, it says Mcp-Session-Id header is required. We'll talk about sessions later, but first of all, what we need to do is initiate a session. So how do we do that? We use something called an initialize method. So here is how I'm trying to do it. Now I have successfully performed a handshake. Now what are the contents in the response when you do a handshake? We'll learn about that. So the client sends an initialize request, it sends an initialize response, and we have a connection or a handshake completed. Let's talk about session handling. So if authentication is not enabled, the server may respond with a Mcp-Session-Id. I'm sorry about this, it's Mcp-Session-Id. Let me give you an example. So as you can see, session authentication is not enabled on my server. So all it did was it straight away gave me a session ID. So this is the session ID, right? But if authentication is enabled, you might have to go through an SSO. So it's MCP supports OAuth 2.1, and after successful authentication, server may respond with an MCP session ID. So MCP dictates, so the MCP protocol dictates that MCP session ID is a must, and this should be used for authentication purposes. So now let's talk about a few test cases. Now generally you can, as of now, you can test this using as you would test a HTTP, a web application over HTTP. You have initialized, you have gotten an MCP session ID. I'll be using this MCP session ID for the rest of the requests. Let's say that I do not send this MCP session ID for the rest of my requests. What would happen? As you can see, it says MCP session ID is required, which means authentication is required, or you need to be authenticated. Now, as you can see in the first request, what I did was I used JSON RPC to initialize myself to the server. And in the next request, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell the server that, hey, I require a list of tools that you support, and I have MCP session ID with me. With this, what it does is it returns a list of all the operations that it supports. Now they are subtract, multiply, divide, and add. It also supports two inputs. So as you can see, A and B, they are of the type number. So you can juggle with these. Let me again copy this MCP session ID, take it to the next one. And here I'm trying to do a tool/call request. I'm using the add operation and arguments are A and B. So as you can see, it returns a successful response, and here is how we test an MCP server. Now there are a lot of other test cases, but this gives you a basic idea about how you can perform basic input validation test cases and session related or authentication and authorization test related test cases in an MCP server. The next set of test cases are generally related with how an AI calls or makes calls to these MCP servers, which is out of scope for this video. I hope this was of some use to you. Thank you.